Hey everybody, investing wisely is the key to long-term success. I'm Dan Gorfinkel with eXp Realty, and in this video we're going to be talking about where to put your money, how to make your money work for you, specifically along the lines of real estate. We all know that you can invest in stocks, you can have a long-term portfolio that way, but obviously a long-term play can also involve real estate investments. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to these videos. Every single week I'm coming at you with my best stuff. Been in this business for 18 years plus. Now it's coming up on 19 years, if you can believe that. And I can't believe it. And ultimately, here to help you. I've helped countless people buy and sell homes. Same thing with regard to agents, just giving you my best stuff so you can put it all together and internalize what I say, put it out there in your own voice, and ultimately be the best you possibly can. So again, this week, the focus is on real estate investing. Where do I have my investments? Well, we won't touch on that too much, but what I can tell you is there's many different ways that you can invest in this business. Being in the greater Boston area, you can invest obviously in condominiums, you can invest in single family homes. The best thing you can possibly do is make sure whatever you do is that there's cash flow positivity, or at minimum, there is some range of appreciation. So years ago when I got into this business, I was looking at how much would it be if I bought a condominium, let's say in Alston where I used to live. And if it was a 1 or 2 bedroom place and the cost was, let's say, $400,000, give or take, how much would I need to crank out in terms of monthly income to at least be net zero, if not a little cash flow positive? Because I think the main thing that you want to keep in mind is it's not just about the here and now. It's not just about making $100 or $200 on a monthly basis. It's about putting your money to use for you, putting it to good work, and ultimately, if you can get into a property, the name of the game is typically a bank is going to loan you 75%. You're going to have to come up with 25% down, and once you've done that, you're able to kind of parlay that into an investment property. You have to factor in what the principal is, the interest, the taxes, insurance. If it's a condo, there's going to be condo fees. You got to make the determination if you're going to be covered as far as, heating, electrical, water, sewer, all those other specifics. So you want to make sure, I have a special calculator that cranks things out as far as what your monthly expenditures are going to be versus what your income is. You got a budget for vacancy allowance. There's always a chance that the property, if you're going to be in the city of Boston, for example, usually September 1st is the best date to expect the place to be occupied by, and highly likely it will be. But if you have anybody who flakes out, if they terminate early, then you have to build in a vacancy allowance. And you also have to make sure that you're being wise about things in terms of your lease structure. We all know that the city of Boston and Massachusetts in general favors the renter. So there's plenty of instances where people can be a squatter in the property, they can avoid paying rent. So there's a lot of nightmare scenarios. But if you're able to scale and if you're able to buy one property and then kind of take what you can from that property, the knowledge and experience you have from that, roll that into another purchase, you're well on your way to scaling and having multiple investment properties. And if you can do that, you can eventually ease your way out of sales. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I think the likelihood that any of us are going to sell forever is unlikely, and having the opportunity to have some cash flow positivity or some appreciation in the properties that you're investing in, that all spells security, portfolio, something massive that you can have to your name. And whether it's for yourself, a spouse, or for your kids in the future, it's something that you can kind of rely on, as opposed to what we call in our business linear income. You sell a property and then you kind of like work yourself into unemployment. So if you have that cushion where you've invested wisely and you're able to parlay that into future stepping stones, as far as whether they're apartment buildings, apartment units, buildings, single family homes, what have you. There's another way to invest as well in the world of real estate. It's called a syndication. Syndications are conglomerates of, they can be as small as 4-unit buildings. They can be hundreds of units. I have a club that I'm part of that we invest all over the country, whether it's in Cleveland near the Cleveland Clinic, down in El Paso, down in Bradenton, Florida. We're kind of dotting the US, and I have somebody in that case where they're kind of managing the entire process for me. I don't have a voice in that, but I have a stake in it. And if you look at something that's going to cost tens of millions of dollars and you have a small percentage ownership and you have the right people who are going to manage it on your behalf in terms of renovating the units, making sure that there's a management association, making sure the places are being rented out. The syndication could be the way to go. I'm not saying that you'd be lazy by doing it, but it kind of takes a lot of pressure off in terms of management and maintenance. And of course, at the same time, you don't have a voice. You have to rely on them to do the right things. But if you get involved in the right syndication, that's also a great way to have your money go to work for you. I highly endorse that. As far as back to, keeping it local, investing in small units or properties, that's also an excellent way to do things. If we look at the landscape that we've had over the past decade in the Boston area, prices have gone significantly higher. They've gone way up. And also with that, rents have gone up too. So you'd be the beneficiary of something that if you invest in a property and you're able to kind of keep it even keel, keep the place in relatively good condition, then you're able to command a solid block of rent money on a monthly basis. There's also a way to kind of offload some of the risk in terms of face-to-face with the tenant. You can hire a management company. Typically, they'll take around 5% of monthly receipts. So if you're making, call it $2,500 a month for, $125 a month. Maybe they're managing the property to the extent that if anything comes up, you're not right in the line of fire when it comes to a tenant calling in the middle of the night to fix a toilet or fix the refrigerator. That is something that, of course, you'll bear the burden of cost-wise, but you'll have the management company go to bat for you in terms of taking all those interactions, those phone calls and emails. And it's something that if you kind of are starting to build and you're scaling and you're getting multiple units under your own portfolio, it's going to be a necessary evil to make sure that somebody is managing the process for you, somebody's managing those tenants, because that can be difficult in and of itself. It could be the most well-intentioned tenant who wants to make sure they're caring for the property, but they could be calling you nonstop. So there's that as well. So there's a lot of positives, there's negatives as well. But if we look at the trajectory of values, specifically in our area, then it's been a wise decision for anybody who's chosen to invest and also take a little bit of pressure off yourself when it comes to having to continuously sell properties. The more you invest, the more properties you own. Theoretically, the more the bank gets to know you, your profile, and in terms of your economic wherewithal and ability to invest in other properties. So it's kind of like a nice snowball that as you're packing that snowball and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you're able to kind of take that to a whole new level where you've gotten some great knowledge, some great intelligence in this business, and you're parlaying that into investing in the right property. One area of caution that I'm going to point out is if you know somebody who's selling a property, and even if it seems like a good investment opportunity for you as an agent to invest in, that's a slippery slope. For you to invest in a client who wants to sell their property and you tell them you're interested in buying it, be careful because there's always a chance they could walk away. I've had that on the tip of my tongue before. I've kept it in, fortunately, and I have not invested in anyone's properties, even if I've wanted to, but it's a slippery slope. Just a word of caution. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Any questions you guys have, feel free to reach out to me, Dan Gorfinkel, 617-820-8085. I'd love to help you out. Feel free to text message me, however you want to do it. I'm here to help, and be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. See you next week.